Well, hey everyone, Catherine and Erica here from Catherine Pooler Designs. Welcome to Crafty Christmas with Catherine and Friends.
We are so excited for tonight's episode with our guest, Laura Evangeline. Laura's not even making cards tonight.
She's not?
Nope. Laura's going to dive into her session on gifts and goodies. She's going to be making tags and gift ideas, and it's going to be great.
Be sure to leave a comment so that Laura knows how much we love having her here on the channel. Also, like and subscribe to our channel if you're not already.
That way you can also set up for notifications to know when we're live or when we have premieres like this one.
Well, without further ado, let's see what Laura has in store for us.
Hey y'all, I'm Laura Evangeline. Welcome to my craft room. I'm tickled to be joining you for some holiday crafting. We aren't making any cards today though. We are creating gifts and goodies you can share this holiday season. All right, let's get to crafting. This is my absolute favorite time of year for crafting. My problem though is there's not enough time for me to create as many projects as I want. Now I'm going to start here with the stocking stuffer stamp and die set, as well as the hang your stocking dies. And so I can create things in bulk, lots of ephemera to work with, I'm going to create a jig. I've got a piece of cardstock here and I'm going to put it down in my platform. Make sure it fits because I'm going to use this as a template later. Now in my die there are 3 pieces on this one that are nestled inside of other dies. I need to get rid of those. Well, not get rid of them, but cut them away from the others. Now they have a little hang tag left here, so I'll take my snips. I will not cut it though. I will twist it. Now that little hang tag piece is stuck in my snips and I can take it safely to the trash can. The edge or the piece that's left behind is not going to be pokey like it would be if you had cut it. Now those little extra pieces, I will tape everything down to this cardstock and I will run it through my die cutting machine. Now this piece that's left behind is the jig. I'll save those little white die cuts, I can use them later. Now I'll take a piece of scrap paper down in my stamp platform, line up everything down in the corner, and this is the part where it takes a little bit of time, but once you get it all set up, you will be able to quickly stamp and cut over and over. All my stamps are now secured and I need to check the placement before I move on. So I'll use a light to medium shade of ink first and give this a test stamp. Let's check and see if everything is lined up how I like it. This ornament here in the middle isn't quite right, so I will readjust. Close that door again and pick it up. I'll change the shade of ink I'm using and then I will go and stamp one more time and let's see this time if I've got it. Yep, I think I like it. We are good to go. I'm not entirely sure which direction I'm going in yet. I have a lot of ideas, but I do know that I'm in love with this white puff twinkle and metallic gold sparkle. So I'm going to go ahead and create some die cuts with these. This metallic gold is especially pretty. Just remember to heat emboss from the back first once it's all melted in, then give it a little blast from the front. That'll keep the little flakes from flying off and it'll keep your cardstock as flat as possible. I'm still loving that white puff twinkle, so I think I want to go back and make some ephemera in that. However, I don't want to stamp on just white cardstock because it won't stand out that well. And I want something colorful this time. So I've taken a color here and I'm stamping it out. Don't worry about the color. I'm just using it as a guide to create some ink blending. Now you could ink blend on top of embossing powder, like an emboss resist technique. However, with white embossing powder, if I inked over it, it would tint or stain that embossing powder, and I want it to stay pure white. So I'll do my ink blending first. I've chosen my colors based on my pattern paper pad. I've chosen a shade of red, blue, and green, and then colors using that color wheel that are a shade lighter or darker, creating this ombre effect. I even pulled in a couple shades of yellow for that little ornament topper. I think at this point I'm using half of the ink colors Catherine makes, so don't worry about writing all these down. I'm going to put everything in my blog post, the sizes, colors, everything, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. I'm going to take all the notes for you. Now you did see me use a little bit of every color on that first sheet, but I did go back and create a full sheet of greens, pinks, and blues, which went much faster. Now I'm ready to stamp. I'll use a little bit of that anti-static powder, Then I'm ready to do the clear embossing ink, stamp, and use that white puff twinkle embossing powder I love so very much. And once again, I'll heat from the rear first to let everything settle in, and then I'll set it on the top. Now everything is ready to go, and because I created that jig, look, I just have to line up the die one time, add those couple extra little ones, and then I'm ready to pass it through. I don't have to line up every little die each time. I'm gonna whip out cutting all these lickety-split. Maybe I should warn you, these are very addictive to make. I even went back and created some deeper shades of red and green and went back to use that gold embossing powder. Now I have loads and loads ready to go. I have these gold sophisticated ones and these sugary candy colored ones. But now, what should I make with them? How about we start with this cute little candle tin. I got it from Target. Everything in my life is from Target or the craft store, of course. This little tin already had some cute pattern paper sticker wrapping around the outside, so I'm not going to mess with a good thing, but you could add some pattern paper if you don't like it, or if you got one and it's a nakey. And you know what? The scallop tag duo dies just magically happenstance to fit on top of this little candle. I'm loving it. I'm going for it. I just need to sort out which ephemera I'm going to use. I love these little candy canes, and this sentiment, it's going to fit here. I just need to scooch over my ephemera a tad bit, stamp it in black ink. Now I want to give a little bit of dimension, make my tag a little more interesting. You don't have to, but I'm going to add some foam here and then attach that circle back to the tag base. I thought it needed still a little more jazzing up, so I covered up the sentiment to protect it, and then I added some shimmery and white ink splatter over top. Now I think it looks a lot better. Doesn't show up so much in video, but in person it's glittery and shimmery like fresh snow, and I love it. I just need to add this ephemera. Once I determine the placement, I attached them together and added some more foam dimensional adhesive because that's just how I roll. I'll get those attached, and now I want to attach the tag to the tin. You could glue it directly on, however, I think it would be really cool if it was removable so the person could save it if they use the candle. So I'm going to attach my twine here by using the lid, so I'm not going to tape anything actually to the candle. Then I'll tie a little knot here and then loop my tag through. Now I don't want this to risk getting torn off and kind of ruining that little eyelet in the tag, so I will go ahead and put an eyelet through that. I love that extra little detail. It's not necessary, but nothing that I do really is. At least if I'm honest in the crafting world. But look at this cutie pie. It is ready to go make someone's day. I'm ready to go on to the next craft though. I've got this little gift pouch here. It's got some hot cocoa. Yes, I got it at Target, but lots of things come in these little gift bags. I want to create a gift bag kind of tag here, and I want it to have a fishtail kind of end. It's 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall at the moment, and my secret to creating the kind of lazy man's fishtail that still looks even is to create a snip right up the center and then go from the outside corners back up into that snipped area. It almost always works out and looks great like this. You don't have to fuss with measuring and everything. I've got the hang your stocking dies here, and I'm in love with this plaid pattern. Of course, Becca Bonneville designed it, so I'm gonna love it. Now for the cuff, toe, and heel dies, I want something a little more dimensional, textured, probably sparkly, so I'm just gonna emboss this scrap piece of paper with some embossing powder. I can't decide between the gold and that white puff twinkle, so I'm going to do both. And now a girl has some options to play with. I'm going to give you a spoiler though, so you don't throw anything away at this point. I'm going to end up using both. I love layers, so I've pulled out the vellum here. I don't want to hide that red polka dot pattern paper, but maybe I can mute it or soften it down a little bit with some vellum. This piece is cut to 2 inches wide, so I've got about a 1/4 inch border that's happening around the edge of the tag here. I just need to dry fit all the pieces before I'm ready to make any serious commitments. And I don't know that the gold is really calling me right now, so I'm going to pull out those candy sugar coated versions here. And I think these are going to work better this time with this color scheme. But I'm not giving up on those gold ones just yet. I'm going to come back to those. I love this little tag that's also in the die set. It's fading away a little bit because it's white on white where I want to put it. So I'll just do a little direct ink to paper and we will make it a matching color to the paper pad there. You know, I think I want to attach this vellum with a little bit of stitching. So in order to do that, I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive down the center. It's going to be under the stocking, and it's also not in a spot where my sewing machine needle is going to go through it. I don't want any adhesive to build up and gunk up my machine. My tag is a little bit long, I think, so I'm going to trim it down about 1/2 inch. So now my tag's going to end up being about 5.5 inches long. Now I'm ready to take it over to my sewing machine and I'll sew around the edges. The back side of this won't really be seen and it's looking pretty clean. However, there are some ends here that you could snip off, but sometimes I'll just add a little bit of glue and run my finger over it so that tail end kind of just blends and melds back in. And the glue is going to dry in just a second and you'll never see it. It's just locked down in place like some hair gel. Okay, now should I put the tag through the string? Should I clip it on? Should I kind of turn it at an angle? Or add something new and exciting like an eyelet, a surprise eyelet? Yes, that's what I'm doing. Did I trick you? Did I get you? No, probably not. I didn't think so. All right, well, I added the eyelet. And now I can start assembling this stocking. It's really, really cute. I have the cuff piece here and I'm going to attach it with some foam adhesive, and I'll do the same with the heel and toe piece too. You know, I am really loving how the stocking turned out. This is the first time I've used this die and I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I love it. It's only 4 pieces and they're decently big sizes, so it didn't take a lot of effort to put it together. The only thing that I made it more complicated with was doing the heat embossing and adding the foam, which is totally extra and unnecessary on my part. You could easily just swap that for just plain cardstock or that glitter foam that I saw in the shop. That would be cute too. Some people ask why I'm using liquid adhesive on projects when I'm already using foam, and that's because I want a little bit of slip before the adhesive dries. I still want the dimension, but I also want a little bit of drying time so I can position things. And also when I'm gluing things over a textured or slick surface like the embossing powder or vellum, I'll use just enough of the liquid without wrinkling the paper to allow it to dry and grip and lock that into place, where I would get nervous sometimes with dry adhesive that over time it might pull away. I'm protecting my tag with some tape again so I can add splatter. And then I'm going to add a few sequins here and there. This is the Lapland mix, and I especially love it because the next holiday I create for after Christmas is going to be Valentine's. And this has red, pink, and aqua and white in it, so it's going to roll right into the next season for me. Okay, on the tag, I'm going to add a little bit of twine. And I add twine even if I don't use the twine to actually attach a tag. I just think it looks cute. It's an aesthetic thing for me. You could tie the tag on there. And then I'm going to add just a little snippet of sequin trim I had in my collection. I pulled out also my little clip collection. I love collecting clips, every color, size, shape. I keep those on hand for things like this. And it also makes it easy for the recipient to take the tag off and keep it. And then they can use the product or the hot cocoa mix without worrying about tearing or ripping the tag off. All right, it needs a little trim, a little haircut here. And this, it's cute. I know I keep saying the word cute. I don't know what other word to say. That's because that's just what it is. It's just cute. The little candle's cute, the tag is cute, and now we're gonna make another thing that's cute. Gift cards. This is the #1 requested, the #1 gifted item. Well, I think I didn't officially poll anyone, but it has to be true, right? Well, guess where I got this one? Target, of course. And I want to find a die in my collection that's going to fit it. I didn't like that little pocket that it came with. It's kind of, neither here nor there. It's just basic. And so I found that the scallops and dots dies, you see here, the gift card fits right on top of this one, and then we have a frame. And I'm thinking I want to create a pocket. I'm inspired by that one that came with it. So look, if I create some kind of pocket with the scallop, and then this will fit on top, maybe I can create a little slider pocket to kind of mimic that cardboard one that came with it. Gotta do some math in here. I trimmed this piece of red cardstock to fit the width between the scallop and that matte layering piece. So it ended up being 2 5/8 inches wide. And then after all this trimming is done, it's going to end up being 7 inches long. But you're going to see the process I walk through here. I'm trimming the bottom scallop off so that flat end will go down into the pocket and sit flat and flush on the bottom. Now I'm seeing where it's going to stop at the top because I haven't trimmed the top yet. And I want this little slider pocket to fit down in and go all the way in. So I'm going to trim, because I see it's going to fit down inside, I'm going to trim off the top scallop layer. So now the top and bottom are flat and flush, and I have scallops hanging out each side. And that matte layer is going to fit down inside and hold the gift card. You see those strips that were exposed red on each side? That's the room I have to add stitching or adhesive. It's not a lot of room, but it works. So I added some stitching, and I'm going to use a circle punch here to create a little notch to pull that gift card out. Okay, before I move on, I want to dry fit this and make sure everything's going okay before I decorate the front. It is a slightly snug to pull out. It comes out okay, but I feel like it could be better. So I want to create a pull. I've got about 12 inches of ribbon here. There's about 3 inches that will end up hanging over the top. I think that's a good amount for a pull, and it looks nice. And as you've seen with my other projects, I don't like the idea of someone having to tear my project off to get the treat or goodie. So I'm creating a little slot for this gift card to go in by just attaching the ribbon to the back side of this little carrier. I need to secure these loose ribbon ends somehow, so I've pulled out twine. I'll tie a little knot and a bow. I went through my stash to find some little jingle bells, but I couldn't find them. And actually, I think it looks cute just like this. It pulls out just perfectly. They can grab the gift card and everything can go back in. I do think we should decorate the front of this though. I thought I would add my ephemera directly to the pocket, but instead I want to pull out these little circles here. They're both 2 1/4 inches round, and I have a pattern piece and then a layer of vellum on top. This will kind of give a highlight to the center area where I am placing the ephemera. I'm just playing around with the layout here to see what I like. I would like to have 3 different shapes, and I want 3 different colors. So I want one of the green, the blue, and then the red candy cane pieces. I also die cut and stamped a sentiment onto another little mini tag that I'll attach to that green twine. Now I like the placement of everything, so I'll flip those over and add foam adhesive and attach to that vellum. The vellum is not attached to the circle below yet, and that's because I'm going to flip it over, and now I'm going to add my adhesive. I know we've all struggled with vellum and hiding our adhesive in the past, and this is one of the ways that I like to hide it. So once I have all that, now I can go ahead and attach it to that pattern paper piece below, and then attach this entire piece to my little pocket. Now this is a perfect spot to stop and enjoy your project, but I have to add a little bit of splatter and finish it off with a few sequins and beads. Now I'm really loving it. This is my favorite one so far. I'm gonna have a hard time giving this one away, so I might need to make an extra one at least to keep for myself. Now, you know I loved that stocking die, so I pulled the die set back out again and cut a white cardstock stocking. I did the white puff twinkle on the cuff and heel toe on the other one, but since I'm going to use the gold ephemera here, I'm going to reverse it. I want the body of this stocking to be in the white puff twinkle. And I don't really want or need the embossing powder to go down into the toe, heel, and cuff because I'm going to cover those up. It's not totally necessary for you to protect these areas. However, I think my adhesive is going to stick better if I have just smooth white cardstock under there. So I'm going to tape those areas off. It's not totally perfect, so don't worry about that. I'll go directly to the paper with the embossing ink pad, ensuring I get that little hanging loop there because it will show. I'll take off the adhesive so my heat gun doesn't melt anything. And then we'll go ahead and pour on the powder and heat set. Remember, I heat set from the rear first, and then I go to the top to kind of lock it all in place. Ooh-wee, this looks so good. The camera is not doing it justice. It is so sparkly and snowy and yummy. Okay, we gotta assemble this thing though. I already had the cuff, toe, and heel from before in the gold, so I'm attaching those using the foam adhesive again. And then I've got the ephemera. I just need to play around with it, dry fit, see what I'm liking before I commit and glue everything together. Now I have this cute little stocking and I have this little soap bottle. It happens to match the color scheme I have going here. That was another happy accident. And then, of course, I don't want to attach it to the soap bottle. So I've pulled out some string here or some ribbon. You could use twine, ribbon, a wider ribbon would be fine too. And then in this case, I found this 2-inch circle punch to hide nicely behind the stocking. And I'm just seeing if I want my stocking to be up higher or down lower. And in this case, I want it to be up higher. So I'm scooting the circle up and making that X fall right in the center of the circle. Now I'm going to temporarily tape it to the bottle so nothing moves while I go ahead and add adhesive. Once again, this is a situation where I'm going to use a strong dry adhesive tape as well as a little bit of liquid just to give me that double insurance. Now I can press my stocking on top, remove that temporary tape, and everything should be ready to go. I'm not crazy about the tails of the ribbon coming out at kind of an odd angle, so I'm going to trim those off, but it's a good little chunk there I don't want to throw away, so I'll just tuck that under the holly there. I think that's a cute little way to repurpose that ribbon. Now it's ready to go on the bottle. You could put it on a wine bottle, and then you could take it off and hang it as an ornament. All these tags can be used on so many different types of goodies and gifts. Remember, all the details, measurements, ink colors are all going to be there for you on my blog post. I really had fun creating these for you. Thank you for spending your crafty time with me. Please leave any questions in the comments below the YouTube video and I will be back to answer them. And until next time, stay crafty.
Thank you, Laura, so much for this amazing video. My favorite part was what she did at the very beginning of the video with the bokeh technique and the inks. And then she does what I love to do, create with a main image stamp set, make some cute little pieces. She's calling it ephemera, and I just think it's brilliant. And then you have all these pieces and parts to mix together and make a project.
I can't believe that I just never thought of taking like a thing of chocolates or a hot chocolate mix or a soap and like dressing it up instead of sticking it in a tote bag. I mean, in a little bag. So much better that way. Handmade is the best.
So let us know what ideas from this video you are going to use this holiday season. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you again next Sunday at 7 p.m.
I think all my friends are getting bags of chocolates that are decorated up with paper craft.
Well, I hope I'm on that list. Maybe some of our friends should get on your list too.
You can get on the list.
All right. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye.